Welcome to another white-knuckle episode of Fearless TV, the program that fires off so many shots in all directions, we just can't help but hit the target sooner or later. Coming up in this half hour, we'll clean out the sinuses with some serious sky surfing. There's more snowboard giant slalom action as we crank up the big sticks for some hard carving. And we'll take the mountain bike handling to limits on wet clay. All this and more coming up on Fearless TV. With more and more corporate cultures taking to the outdoors in an attempt to instill some form of camaraderie into their staff and increase productivity and fitness levels at the same time, the multi-sport event has become the staff barbecue of the new millennium. Multi-sports meetings usually involve several disciplines including running, cycling, orienteering, abseiling, canoeing and weather conditions permitting an element of cross-country skiing. Various legs of the event are staged over a number of days, and distances are open to either team or individual competition, with placings awarded accordingly in separate classes. The cross-country ski leg of the Hotham Winter Classic involves one circuit of the summit, followed by a downhill traverse into a forest section. Several road crossings follow, then back along the summit road to the first checkpoint and the transition to the run leg. Nordic or cross-country skiing at this level is not for those with weak thighs, and especially on the uphill sections, this course soon sorts out those who came for the scenery and those who are serious about competing. In order to maintain momentum on cross-country skis, an ability to skate is a necessity, as the terrain may be flat or even uphill for a large part of the course. And with any type of skiing, the ability to descend in a controlled manner is also a handy skill, although in this event apparently not crucial. Some come for the competition, some just arrive for fun, and some just arrive without a clue. At the end of the day, most leave wiser and fitter for having competed. We'll have more from the run leg on upcoming episodes of Fearless TV.
a party, almost deja vu. Waves a million crash into a roar. One trick mind, life it's such a bore. Hey, 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 come around to make my day complete. Come around, you think you look so neat. Come around, do you think I've got a choice? Come around, come around. Wheels are turning, spinning round and round. Dinner's burning, called the lost and found. Tailor-made, dressed up to the nines. From nine leaves you weak for more. Perfect 10, that's not you at all. Ignore the law. Hey, 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 come around to make my day complete. Come around, you think you look so.
Back on the bike again for a major terrain test in the directional sense. Although not quite as difficult as riding on snow, wet clay has a certain feel all on its own and requires its own special touch, especially under brakes and when cornering. Many of today's downhill courses are specially designed to incorporate sections of difficult terrain. Along with sand and mud, clay surfaces are a favourite for those setting the technical sections on timed courses. Even with today's tyre technology, wet conditions present an added difficulty for all but the most experienced riders. And the only approach is to avoid all ruts and maintain speed without losing control. Locking up under brakes being the main killer of momentum. Another surface particularly unfriendly to mountain bikes is snow, although more and more riders are now drawn to the mountains in the off-season to keep up their skills and test themselves in unfamiliar territory. Snow presents another challenge in a similar style to wet clay, along with the added bonus of cold weather conditions and the possibility of ice lurking just beneath the surface, making for the most difficult of conditions.
You don't think that it's sanity?
Time to wind up the speed and get those edge-to-edge transitions timed perfectly for another high-speed pass between the gates on the giant slalom course. With the distance between the gates being relatively short and angle of slope being high, snowboard slalom requires a board with minimal flex and waist width to maintain speed and quickest edge-to-edge transitions. The fastest way down the course would naturally be a straight line, but as the gates are set on various angles on the foreline, some major weight transfer and turning ability needs to take place to make it from top to bottom in the shortest possible time. If you're planning on including a crash in the middle of a downhill event, here's the size and speed you should be aiming for, with just the right number of rotations. An abseil section in the middle of an endurance event can be dangerous at the best of times, but a descent in the rain is even more difficult. Here's how competitors fared in the Great Southern Traverse. Talk about a bulldog eating custard. This is what happens when wet clay meets wet rubber. Let's have a look at some self-induced wipeouts in the snow now. Those encountered when going for bigger and bigger air. It's one thing to nail the takeoff with plenty of speed and height, but as the saying goes, what goes up must also come down, eventually. And this becomes a problem area when you've just laid down the biggest 540 double grab you've ever attempted and are not quite sure which direction the downward side of the mountain was again. Sometimes you nail the landing, and there are those times you just get hammered. The trick is to make sure there's plenty of soft stuff all around the landing zone. And if jumping doesn't work, there's always some nice, long, fresh calves. Probably not the wildest water we've ever encountered in the history of Fearless TV, but we thought we'd show you another clever use of the natural terrain in the much practiced sport of bungee jumping.
I feel your pain. I know your lies. I see deceit within your eyes. You think you fool, and you can try. So stand my back, and you might die.
For some bizarre reason, people feel slightly safer when plummeting 1,000 feet towards the ground when there's a river or lake below the jump zone. The stretch of the bungee cord in this jump has been matched to the jumper's weight perfectly to allow some baptism at the end, which would be a good thing to cool down all the blood that's rushed to your upper body during the fall.